I want to share one specific career advice that I got maybe 10 years ago from a TED Talk actually, and I still think it was very late. Hi, my name is Banu Baykal. I shoot weekly videos for professionals who wants to develop their career and themselves and have a beginner mindset. Before I start this video, I feel like I need to have an explanation about this location. I'm about to move, less than 3 weeks now, hence the location. If you turn the frame even a little bit, you'll see a lot of boxes in the house. I was either going to do it now when I have time on Saturday morning where everybody is out of the house for soccer game, for basketball, or I was going to wait for a better opportunity, which we all know for a mother who is working, it may never come. So that's the only opportunity, and I wanted to shoot this video rather quickly than waiting for a best opportunity to shoot, which may never come. All right, tell me if this scenario feels familiar. You go to a person you look up to, somebody that is already mentoring you, or a hiring manager for a role that you intend to apply. You simply explain your situation, your CV, your resume, your intention for this role, and ask their opinion on whether you should develop anything, what is it that, and so on. They look at you and they tell you the skills that you need to develop. Generally, you hear things like you need to be great with customers, you need to negotiate effectively, manage conflict well, overall soft skills really. Things like you need to work on your communication skills, you need to be a great communicator. Whatever the role is, generally the advice comes as soft skills. I've been in both ends for these discussions as a hiring manager or as a person who wants to develop herself to a stretch role, looking for mentoring and advice. And I know both sides very well. Let's take one example, it will be a lot easier. Let's say communication skills. So I can explain over an example. What is wrong with this example is, can you argue back that your communication skills is really good? Absolutely not, because it's impossible to rate it. Can you argue that this specific skill is not valid? Absolutely not. Do you think that that specific skill is important? Absolutely yes. So hear me out. I believe traditional advice is failing us. I'm not saying the skills are not important, but there are 3 things wrong with this advice. First of all, in general, soft skill advices. First of all, it's impossible to say no and impossible to measure. Assume somebody told you that you need to develop your communication skills. Can you really argue back? Well, not really. I mean, nobody is perfect, so everybody somehow can use some development on that topic. Communication skills play a big role in any role, really. When you think of communication as a skill, it's so big, so diverse, it has so much things to do. You can actually spend your entire life working for it, and you may not even be able to get there. On the other hand, there is no real measuring. It's a soft skill. Assume perfect looks like 10 and you're only 4. Of course you need to develop yourself. At the other side of it, what if that specific role as a new starting person only requires 3? 3 looks really good enough. How can you tell? Now this person, you went to this person, will be your hiring manager, and this person now will remember the advice she gave it to you. He said you need to work on your communication skills, and because you can't argue back, you said, of course, this is very important, I'll work on that one, you're right. Next time when you go for the interview, you'll keep talking about how great communicator you are. You are trying to save the previous situation that you created, because you're the person now that person remembers as advising to work on communication skills. What you don't notice, it's not going to get you over the line. When it comes to actually making a decision, how much of this specific skill will play a role? Can you tell? Like, do you know? Everybody has some areas to develop. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is hired because that person is absolutely perfect in that role and takes all the 10 boxes out of 10, and in everything they do, they scale 10 out of 10. what makes a person click. So decide to hire for that role according to my own experience, and please take this with a pinch of salt. This is my experience. I can say it's almost 30% soft skills and definitely 70% is business acumen. It's not me saying this, by the way. Please, I'll put comments down below the TED Talk that I heard 10 years ago, which shocked me back then. So please hear that TED Talk as well. I believe it will be really helpful for your career. Now let's take it step by step. What you really need to understand, because it is the best career advice you can ever get, is what does business acumen means. Business acumen is the ability to understand the business, where it is going, and your role in taking it there. It's your ability to scan external environment, identify risks and opportunities, make strategic recommendations or strategic actions, take strategic actions, looking at the financials of your business or of your group, understanding the story that the financial tells. Either take appropriate actions or make recommendations. And you may say this sounds very complex. I'm an individual contributor in sales, then what's in it for me? Then it is your ability to understand your vertical, market conditions, country dynamics that you're operating in, your specific segments, dynamics of that segment, your ability to talk to clients' language when you speak to them. And you may say, why nobody is giving me or advising me to work on that area then? In my opinion, it's because this is given. You already expected to know these things. People you are talking they have business acumen. They are very used to think that way. It's not the advice that comes to mind at first. Giving advice around soft skills, traditionally almost very accepted and very hard to argue back. It becomes almost a norm. So you can give this advice around soft skills anybody, really, and in years out, it becomes almost a reflex. And there is no bad intentions, in my opinion, here, but somehow this is what happens. And you will ask, what do I need to do now? Couple of things. When you are looking at your development plan, stop only looking at your soft skills. Create a plan to understand your core business acumen skills first and start working on them first before anything else. When you are looking for mentoring, ask for mentoring in this area. Prepare a business plan, for example. Show it to your mentor. Ask for feedback. Let that person help you to make it better. When you're looking for a job, work on your pitch to show your business acumen skills as well. Don't keep talking about your soft skills in general when you're talking about yourself. When you're interviewing for a manager or you're preparing for an interview, instead of asking to that hiring manager what I need to work on, ask as, what are the critical skills for this role? What are the core skills for this role? And when you are interviewing, during the interview, make sure that those business acumen skills that role requires, make sure you hit them first in your interview before anything else. Try to show it with examples from previous roles that you have done, how strategic you were in general, or whatever skills you get advice when you ask them, right? So I can clearly say this learning has changed my career. How I talk about myself, how I prepare my development plan day in, day out. It helped me countless times. And I hope it does the same effect as it did on me as well. Thank you so much for watching. I do business videos weekly, every Saturday morning, as I said in the beginning of the video. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them down below. I'm so thrilled when I see a comment. And if you have any questions, I would do my best to help you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.